Hello and welcome back to another Schedule 1 tutorial guide. Today we are going to be going over tips and tricks part 2, where I'm going to be showing you guys over 10 different tips that are going to help you in your gameplay. Whether you are a beginner or a veteran, you may find some tips in this video that are helpful to you. None of these tips are repeats from my tips and tricks part 1 video, so if you haven't seen it yet, after this one, go ahead and check that one out as well. Hopping straight into it, tip number 1 is going to be how to get around $2,000 worth of equipment in the very first moments of the game. As soon as you finish the in-game tutorial and you leave the sand biome, you are going to be spawned in your RV. At this point, instead of running to the nearest payphone, take your time and water these plants. Once they are full grown, go ahead and harvest them and then use your right click to go ahead and collect all of the different equipment that's inside the RV. You don't have enough inventory space to take everything, so if you want to get rid of something from your hotbar, all you'll have to do is drag the item to the bottom right of your screen and then it will disappear forever. Once you have all of the equipment gathered, go ahead and head to the payphone and do the rest of the quest prompts, and then when your RV explodes, instead of starting out with nothing, you're actually going to start out with quite a bit of good gear. The most useful of this equipment, make sure you're grabbing the racks, the pots, the lights, the 20 OG KUSH, the packing station, and the storage racks. That way when you first get to your motel, before you've even bought your first grow tent, you're gonna have a pretty nice starter setup. Now onto tip number 2. This one is potentially the most important tip in the entire video, and that is counter offer every single text message. With these text message offers, many when they first start playing, immediately just click deal and then pick the desired time that they want to meet. But fun fact, if you do counter offer, your chances of success are extremely high, so you should be counter offering every single text message. So for this example, they are offering $415 for one Afghan, and I'm going to crank that up to $465. That's a little over a 10% increase, and just like that, okay, what time? So now let's do a few more examples. Here we have 3 for $930. We're going to counter offer that all the way to $1,200. And what would you know? They said, okay, what time? Here we have Randy offering 1 for $345. Again, counter offer, crank that all the way up to $445. Here we have $795 counter offer, crank that up to $995. Tobias offering nearly $2,000 for 5, crank that up. Let's go crazy. Let's go $2,600. And here we go. What time do you want to meet? So with these text message offers, if you are not counter offering and upcharging, then you are losing out on countless dollars. So moral of the story is never just click deal, always counter offer. Additionally, inside your product managers app where you list different items for sale, you should always be increasing the asking price around 10 to 20% above whatever the suggested fair market value is. So as an example here, suggested $280, but I'm doing asking price $340, and it hasn't slowed down the text message offers one bit. For any of you guys that are just starting to play Schedule 1, for instance, on the OG KUSH, suggested $43, we can crank that up to something like $65, even $70. You can play around with the asking price. If you raise it up to $65, $75, and you notice a slowdown in the text messages that you get, you can go ahead and bump it down a bit, but you never should be just settling for the fair price. Now on to the next tip. I bet many of you guys weren't aware that you actually get a 20% bonus if you deliver products after curfew. Once the top of your screen looks like this, police curfew in effect, now you will be getting that 20% bonus. And just like that, we can now see that we got that curfew bonus. One more time here with Kathy, give her 4. We can see on this one we made $175, a $35 curfew bonus. So start scheduling more deliveries in the late night time slot. You're gonna get the bonus and there's no chance of that expiration. Of course, at night you do have to worry about the cops. So when you do these nighttime deliveries, go ahead and grab your golden skateboard. Now getting away from the cops is quite simple, but for those of you that didn't know, your best method from getting away from the cops is to make a lot of 90-degree turns. So we're gonna turn here and then immediately turn again, which kind of is self-explanatory, but I've noticed if you move in a straight line, they're able to track you a lot easier. But by continuously doing as many 90-degree turns as possible, usually you can lose them rather quickly. Additionally, these dumpsters are absolutely clutch. If you ever hop in a dumpster and close it on top of yourself, you have about a 90% chance of getting away, so long as they didn't see you actively jump into the trash can. For our next tip, this has to do with ordering seeds. For the cash drop locations, I would recommend you guys to always leave extra cash in here. By doing this, as soon as it's time to collect your seeds from the dead drop, now you can immediately head into your app and go ahead and order more seeds without having to run back to that cash drop. Now for this next tip, it has to do with vehicles. In the last video, I went over how I think the Golden Skateboard is actually better than all of the different vehicles when it comes to movement. But if you are gonna purchase a vehicle, I would actually recommend one vehicle over all of the rest. And that one is the Viper. For one, it's only $9,000, and for two, the storage space in this vehicle is absolutely insane. It is 16 slots. As you see here, you have 16 different slots that you can store items. So if you do have a bunch of deliveries, you can fill this up with different products. And then as you drive to different deals, you can sell directly from the trunk as long as you're within 20 meters without ever having to have any products in your hotbar. This vehicle also is super clutch when you are needing to head to the store to fill up on bags, jars, and things like that. You can fill this bad boy up with a ton of gear. That way you're not having to head back and forth to the hardware store. All in all, for $9,000, this van is the absolute best. Next up, let's talk about new customers. As you are progressing through the game, one of your main focuses is to get more clients. As you get more clients, you'll also unlock new dealers. And the easiest way to find where your new customers are is to go ahead and check the map. When you do open up the map, you will see a few different customers around and it will say potential customer. This is going to follow them no matter where they go to around the map. It will show you their exact location. So at the start of each day, I would recommend you guys to track down all of these potential customers. Go ahead and offer them each a bag. You also have potential dealers that will pop up on your map as well. Now with all these customers, you should be able to get most of them just by offering them a standard OG KUSH, but they also do have preferences. When you go up to each of them, it will tell you their preferred effects. So if you want a higher probability of securing them as a new customer, you may want to try to give them a product that they prefer. Next up, let's talk a little bit about agriculture. This is something I think is very important with your different setups. I personally recommend water dispensers over soil dispensers. For me, filling up soil is incredibly easy. It doesn't take up too much time. And with the $60 soil, you only have to fill this one up after every 3 grows. So for me, the soil dispenser is not worth it, whereas to the water dispenser is absolutely clutch. At my docks location, although I do have 2 botanists that will take care of the watering for me, I still find that having a water dispenser is really nice because for some reason they're very slow at watering the plants. It's as easy as activating each of these sprinklers and now all the plants instantly have their water. You're not having to deal with this standard water pail and then having to refill it every couple of pots. All in all, the water dispenser is absolutely clutch and you should have it, especially if you don't have a botanist working for you. Next up, let's talk a little bit about mixtures. We talked a little bit about it in the previous tips and tricks video, but with mixtures, there are some mixes that can make your profits exponentially higher than a non-mixed product. This tip in particular is for one strain of OG KUSH. By adding $30 worth of ingredients, you can make an OG KUSH go up to $164 in market value. My recommendation for this mixture is to change the asking price to $240, and then you're able to counter offer to $350. This $350 counter offer works 99% of the time. So far in my testing, I haven't gotten one decline at $350. So although this recipe I'm about to show you is 7 ingredients, and it does take a bit of time to make, you're gonna be able to turn your run-of-the-mill OG KUSH into $350 per. That means a stack of 20 is going to net you $7,000. This recipe alone can bring you from rags to riches. So quite simply, this tip is to take a little more time into creating this mixture. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, you can find the recipe. The other part of this tip that I do want to add is that having multiple mixing stations is going to make your process much more efficient. As an example here, we have 4 different machines, and through the production process, if we go ahead and only craft 5 of this recipe in each of the machine, you can go ahead and create 20 of this recipe in the same amount of time that it would take you to craft just 5 of them. Additionally, what's really cool is by the time that you finish starting the 4th mixture machine, the first mixing machine will then be ready for you for the next step. So you just kind of work on down the line and then go back to the first machine. Ultimately, this tip is not for everyone, but if you do have the time for it, I would highly recommend it because again, it's going to increase your profits exponentially. I did go ahead and time the entire process, and it took me 2 minutes and 25 seconds in order to make 20 of this exact recipe by using 4 machines, 5 in each machine. For our next tip, this one actually takes us outside of the Schedule 1 game, but for any of you guys that are try-harding mixtures, you can actually make the process a whole lot easier for yourself. There is this website called Schedule 1 Calculator, and this one has all kinds of different recipes. There's a reverse calculator if you're looking to find certain recipes that match different kinds of effects, whether we're looking for seizure inducing or if we are looking for the zombie effects, schizophrenia, explosive, anything like that. You can go ahead and choose the product type and then find the cheapest way to create any kind of different recipe. Also, by heading over to the mixing calculator, you can go ahead and test out any kind of different mixtures. So let's say this example here, we want to try out a sour diesel with energy drink, chili, motor oil, and iodine. All we have to do is hit mix, and it will tell us the sell price as well as the cost in order to make this recipe. Also, by heading over to all seeds, you can actually check out all kinds of different mixtures that has been made by the Schedule 1 community. So if you are looking for certain mixtures for, let's say, coca, you can click here and rank it by sell or rank it by cost, whatever you want to do, and all this information is here for you. This website is a really great tool, and a few members of the community spent a lot of time creating this, so I will leave the link down in the description box below. You can use these tools totally for free. Now for our last tip, this one is the most powerful tool that you could possibly use, and I would not recommend it for your main save, but if you're wanting to play around on a secondary save, this is something that may be of use to you. For those of you that didn't know, if you hit escape, go into settings, and you activate this console right here, you can essentially control every aspect of your game, whether that means giving yourself money, XP, vehicles, employees, anything you could possibly think of. You have complete control if you want to do so. By doing this though, in your main save, you are cheating yourself and you're going to be taking away hours of gameplay, so I would not recommend it on your main save. But just for fun, here are some of the things that you can do with this console command. For one, there is free cam, which that one is totally cool in your main save, but also you can change the time of day, give yourself any item you could think of, change your cash and bank balance, add XP, spawn vehicles, teleport, set own to any of the businesses, clear your wanted level with police. You can grow your plants instantaneously, add any different employee to a set property. Now this one is useful, especially for content creators. Hide UI works very well if you're trying to get a sleek first-person shot without seeing your hotbar at the bottom. Yeah, essentially you can control any different aspect of the game. With each of these, blue is the title, and just under that, that is what you would actually type in. So if you want free cam, you would just type in free cam. For giving items, you would do give space said item space the quantity of the item, and it also has a brief description here on the right. And if you are wanting to take advantage of this in your secondary save, all you have to do is click the tilde key, which is the one that is left of the 1 key, and then you would type in whatever you need. So if we wanted to do free cam, we just type in free cam here, and now we can zoom about the map. This is actually what I personally use for thumbnails. I'll free cam and then I'll find the angle that I want, bam, snap the picture. Same thing with teleport. If we type in teleport motel, boom, we will teleport straight to the motel. So again, with that tip, I wouldn't recommend using it in your main save. You're only cheating yourself. But if you want to, those tools are available for you. Now with that tip out of the way, that about wraps it up for this video. I hope this video was of use to you, and if it was, go ahead and leave a like and comment down below and let me know which tip was your favorite. On this channel, I'll continue to make all kinds of different tutorial guides for Schedule 1, so if that is something of interest to you, go ahead and subscribe, and both links for the Schedule 1 Discord and my community Discord will be down in the description box below, so I hope to see you there. If not though, no worries, I hope to see you next time.